Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Allie and I talk all things travel. So today we're going to take a look at the Tomtoc Navigator T66 lightweight travel backpack. I've had mine now about 3 months, and over those 3 months I've taken it on multiple trips. I've used it as an everyday carry, including taking it to the coffee shop, to the beach, even to the gym. So I've put it through quite a bit, and I've got to say overall it's held up really well. You can see it's quite a good size. It works as a personal item for most airlines, which is fantastic. And the best part is it's under $100, which honestly, the second I pulled this out of the box, I was really shocked because the quality, like, this looks much nicer. I'm very excited to talk to you about this bag, clearly. But before I do, I just want to give you a quick disclaimer. This bag was gifted to me by Tomtoc. However, this review is entirely my own. They have not seen it. You're seeing it right along with them. So without further ado, let's dive into what I loved about this bag and a couple of things I wish would have been done a little bit differently. And we're going to figure out if this is the perfect backpack for you. So let's get started. Let's start off talking about the dimensions, because everybody wants to use this backpack as a personal item. And the fantastic news is it does work as a personal item for most major airlines. Obviously, you do want to check before you fly. I can tell you this worked perfectly for Allegiant and JetBlue. However, it definitely did take up the majority of the under seat areas, so just something to be aware of. But obviously the trade-off is you get to pack a lot, so if it's a short flight, I think it's more than doable. So dimension wise, we are looking at 17.72 inches times 11.81 inches times 7.87 inches. And if you want to look at that in centimeters, you are looking at 45 centimeters times 30 centimeters times 20 centimeters. And then in terms of weight, this bag weighs about 2 pounds. So it definitely comes in on the lighter side. Obviously, that's why they call it the LITEWAY backpack. So as an overpacker, I can definitely appreciate that it's lightweight, because the less weight you're carrying around on your back, the better. And then jumping into the build of the bag, let's talk about this material. This is a 400 ripstop polyester material, and it is quite lightweight. Obviously, we've already talked about that. And it's also quite durable. So far, it's held up really well. The only place I've noticed that there's really been any problem is I have a small white scratch here, and I think what probably happened is when I was running around New York with it on my back, I probably just scratched up against something and marked it. Otherwise, 10 out of 10, it is held up so well. It's definitely durable. It is also water resistant, which is a huge plus, especially if you're running around the city. Light rain, you're going to be fine. If it's a heavy rainstorm, I would definitely suggest maybe moving your tech closer to the inside of the bag, because the one issue I've noticed with this is the zippers. So they're YKK zippers, which no issue there. Those are amazing. However, when we're talking about rain, the material around here is not water resistant. I mean, a light rainstorm, you're probably fine, especially if you're in and out. But this thing about this compartment with the zipper is that it's way more protected. So you don't really have to worry about it here as much as you have to worry about it on the laptop compartment. In terms of colors for this bag, this is the olive. There's also a gray color as well as a black. I have the black in the larger size. I think it's super chic. The gray looks really pretty, but I wanted something a little bit different, so I went with olive. I got so many compliments when I was traveling with this. If you're on the fence about the olive, I highly suggest it. I think it is beautiful in person. Jumping into some of the details of the bag, let's first get started with the obvious. We've got a nice drink holder right here. Here's my Swell bottle. I realize it is a little bit thinner than some of the more popular ones now. Okay, so you can see for this particular bag, it's quite roomy because, again, this is quite a small water bottle. And the nice thing is, if you do have one of the larger ones, there's this elastic right here. So it does stretch a tiny bit. And if you have a smaller one like I do, you can use this strap here and just kind of strap it into place. Okay, moving on and talking about the actual straps. So this strap does more than just hold in the water bottle. It's also a compression strap. So we've got a compression strap here, one here, and then on this side, we have two as well. But there's a little bit of a difference on this side of the bag compared to the other when it comes to these compression straps. This side, you've got a buckle. So the buckle on this, it kind of honestly can get a little annoying because what ends up happening is it buckles over this zipper part here. So if you want to get in and out of your bag, especially if you're trying to go quickly, you have to constantly unbuckle both of these in order to get in and out. While it's not a huge deal, it does kind of get a little annoying. Talked about the compression straps, let's talk about the grab handles. So we've got a really nice padded grab handle right here. I really appreciate just how much padding this bag has in general. Again, for under $100, I really think the quality on this, like 10 out of 10. And then you've also got a grab handle on the back on the side right here. This one is not padded, but it's nice if you've got to put it like in an airline sizer. You can just grab it, pull it out. Ooh. Pull it out, and it's nice and easy. Using that grab handle, let's just jump to the back of the bag here. We've got some really, really nice padded straps. Again, they really went all out on the padding, which I massively appreciate. It's nice because they've also used a mesh paneling on the back, which is meant to kind of like give your back a bit more air, which I've used this just during the winter, so I was wearing a coat. I couldn't really tell you. Supposedly during the warmer months, it's supposed to kind of keep your back a bit cooler. So we'll have to test that out and I'll have to let you know. But overall, I've got to say the backpack straps, 10 out of 10. There was one day where I carried this bag around for probably like 17 hours. And while it definitely got really annoying toward the end of the day, overall, the comfort level on this, like 10 out of 10. And I think between the padding on the backpack straps and then the sternum strap that is adjustable, which is so nice because not every backpack has an adjustable one. So this, you can basically slide it up and down this little section here on both sides and adjust it to where it feels the most comfortable. So 10 out of 10 on that. That came in really, really handy. And then also you've got a nice little anchor point right here. Theoretically, maybe put your sunglasses there, or if you want to use like a carabiner and carabine something there, you can. I don't use it, but it's there if you need it, which is always nice. Same really with this grab handle. You could very easily attach something. So moving on, we've obviously got the extra padding here and here. And then right here, we've got a trolley sleeve. So super handy if you don't want to end up having to carry your bag on your back and you happen to have a suitcase. It is incredibly easy to just slide this on. Also, it's worth mentioning, this bag has 2 water bottle pockets. So big plus there if you want to carry a water bottle plus an umbrella. Obviously, you do lose the ability to use one of those if you're going to have this on your luggage with that trolley pass through. Okay, and then jumping to the pockets, let's first start with the little hidden pocket just up at the top. This compartment runs from the back of the main compartment all the way to the very front. The one catch with this is that while it does fit a lot, it basically takes up space if you overpack it, and it will go down into the main compartment. So if the main compartment's overpacked or vice versa, you're going to be eating into the other section of space just a bit or a lot, depending on how much you overpack. So just something to keep in mind. Normally, I like to keep my glasses in mine, like a snack, my hand sanitizer, anything that I might want access to during the flight will go right there. And then jumping to the front, there is a front panel pocket. It basically runs from this buckle down to this buckle and then goes all the way across. Typically, what I like to do is I will stick my Kindle in there, my passport, anything I might need access to like while I'm at the airport or on the flight. Obviously not the most secure pocket. I wouldn't be putting my passport in there if I was like on public transit or anything. So please don't do that. But if you're just kind of bopping around and need to quickly like stash it before maybe going through passport control or something as you're going through the airport, this is a really good pocket just to quickly slide things in and out of, especially if you end up utilizing the rear trolley sleeve and you put it on this way. This pocket right here becomes a really good kind of catch-all for everything, assuming that this bag is not fully packed. Because again, just like this top pocket up here, if you pack too much into this, or if you pack too much into the main compartment, it will take up space in the other compartments. So just something to keep in mind, because the first time I packed this, I I overpacked it a bit. And then I tried to stick my Kindle in there and it was just not happening. So obviously not a huge deal, but just something to keep in mind. Do not overpack this. If you want to utilize this small pocket, make sure that there is space to do so before you leave for the airport. Okay, and then just one more thing before we dive into the laptop compartment. There is also this very small handle at the top. And to be honest, when I first unboxed this, I was a little like, I don't see the point in this, but this works really well, especially if you're in the airport and you need to like hang up your backpack, maybe while you're in the restroom. Basically, it's so much easier to use this little one than it is to try to hook this larger one. So 10 out of 10, love that little design feature. And then jumping into the laptop compartment, one of the first things that I want to talk about is something that makes this bag really unique, and that is the fact that you can access the main compartment not only through the front, but also through the laptop compartment. So at first, this kind of threw me because obviously this doesn't shut quite all the way. And I think the whole point of this is if you're in line at TSA and maybe you need to access both your laptop to take out, as well as, I don't know, maybe some liquids or something. If you're not TSA pre-check, you can essentially grab it here, and pull, and this will come undone. So we're not going to undo it quite yet, but I just wanted to talk about that because it is definitely unique. Then jumping down to the bottom of this pocket, we have a mesh panel. For this, I typically just put in charging cables, like nothing too crazy, nothing too bulky, because on this side of the bag, we have the laptop compartment. So if you have anything too bulky in this pocket, what ends up happening is when you close this bag, especially if the bag is fully packed, you end up putting a lot of pressure on your device. So we don't want to do that. I normally pack all of my big tech in a different tech pouch. And if you want to see that, I'll link it below. It's from Peak Design. I've had it for ages and it's fantastic. So jumping back into this laptop compartment, the one thing I do really love that they considered for safety with your laptop, not only did they keep everything really nicely padded on this side, but they've also built in about 2 inches of space between the bottom of the bag and the bottom of the laptop compartment. And this just gives you a little bit of extra protection. It keeps your laptop off of the ground. So again, safety first. So in terms of the 2 laptop compartment sizes, this fits up to a 16-inch laptop, and then you can fit up to a 13-inch laptop, tablet, Kindle, whatever in the second one. So it's very handy. It keeps you super organized. One more thing to note with the laptop compartment, the zippers on the laptop compartment do have a little like lock pass through. So if you wanted to bring your own like TSA approved lock and lock that back section, you totally could do that. Okay, so jumping to the inside of the bag, the first thing you're gonna note is how minimal it is. This is one thing I really kind of feel like they could have done a little bit better. You've got all of this space either, you know, up here or on the sides of the bag to like maybe put in another like little mesh pocket or just something to make you feel a bit more organized. And instead, it's just all empty space. So, you know, maybe that's something they could have done a little bit better. But overall, I do appreciate having so much open, empty space to be able to put my packing cubes and really pack however I need to be able to make everything fit. Because honestly, there is nothing worse than when a brand thinks they're being helpful and it just makes it really hard to pack. So the fact that this is nice and open, like it really does give you quite a bit of flexibility, but I also would have appreciated maybe a little bit more organization. So one thing I do think is really thoughtful that not every brand does is they have this little flap at the bottom, and basically what this does is it just gives your bag a bit more structure. So you can either keep it folded up this way, or what I like to do is I keep it folded down, and then it just gives your bag a nice flat bottom, helps it stand up on its own a bit more. Let's go ahead and pack her out. Okay, so we've got our big packing cube. That's going to take up a lot of space. Our small packing cube. We've got a pair of boots that I'm going to wrap up and put in a shoe bag. Whew, there we go. It's getting a little tight, but I think we're going to make it work. So my makeup bag, I think will fit right there. There we go. My toiletries in my Cadence parcel, which is one of my favorite little bags. There we go. My toothbrush, which I think maybe if we do this, there we go. We'll lay that there and this here. Perfect. Hairbrush, deodorant. Okay, this is getting really full. And then right on top, I'm just gonna put my sleep mask and my belt. Okay, I think this is quite full at this point, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop. We're gonna just zip her up. Okay, next up is the Kindle. So I'm gonna stick my Kindle up front. We're gonna put the Kindle in, just slide that in there. Perfect, and there's still a bit of space, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna put in a face mask, use that on the plate. Ooh, there we go. And I think that's pretty good there. I could probably squeeze in a couple snacks if I really wanted to push it, but I haven't picked those up yet, so we're gonna just leave that empty and we'll get some snacks at the airport. So jumping, ooh, there we go, up to this top compartment. I've got my wallet, portable charger, hand sanitizer, and headphones. You can see now that it's fully packed out, this definitely is bowing in a little bit. So again, I'd be very, very cautious packing anything too bulky here, because what's gonna end up happening, especially if this is super, super packed, is you are gonna see this hitting up against the laptop a bit. So just for the sake of packing, let me go ahead and grab my laptop and we'll put that in here and zip her up. There we go, that fits really nicely. And then instead of using this for cords, I'm gonna just use it for a couple other minor things, some liquid IVs. There we go. Perfect. So we'll zip her up and try her on. Okay, so here we go. This is the 28-liter fully packed. For reference, I am 5'8" and about 125, so this is how it sits on me. I would say overall, it's quite comfortable. I'm very impressed with the straps. I do think the padding is really, really solid. So is the Tomtoc Navigator T66 lightweight travel backpack the ultimate budget backpack? Honestly, it 100% is. I still cannot get over the fact this is under $100. It is such a steal. Like honestly, 10 out of 10. I am obsessed with it. My dad's even traveled with it a couple of times. He also loves it. I really think for this price point, like the padding alone on this, like 10 out of 10. The material has been so durable. Again, I do think on the inside there could be better organization, but at the end of the day, I think so many people use packing cubes now, which honestly I'm obsessed with. So the way the interior is kind of empty isn't a huge deal. I think it just means you need to be a bit more organized when you're going in to pack it. If you would like to purchase this bag, I do have an affiliate link in the description box below. I'd appreciate it if you use it. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It helps support my channel. I've got links both to Amazon as well as to Tomtoc's official website. And with that, if you have any questions, please definitely let me know in the comments below. If you're not already, please think about following me. I post lots of travel content, from travel vlogs to travel reviews, so hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like to read more about this bag, I do have a website with a full written review. It's in depth, and you can find that on Ali Travels. I've got the official link in the description box below for you. And with that, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.